Okay, so this video is gonna be lighthearted, I guess, and not what people would consider depressing. I don't think. So this isn't gonna be about Bigfoot and anal trauma. This video is gonna be about MPDs. I guess mostly me talking about myself. And like I always say, really, I talk about things as I find them out. So a lot of things I talk about are either going to be about myself or like people around me, really usually both. So like for a lot of these things, I figured things out based off of my symptoms and things I've seen in other people I know. And so I'm going to be talking about, I guess, BPD type stuff, which is a borderline personality disorder. Tried to really make sure I pronounced it. And as I always say, I don't believe in psych labels. I don't even like labeling in general. But as I've said before, when I started to do more research on CPTSD, quote unquote narcissism, the spiritual and physical side, and personality disorders in general, I found out about BPD, and some of it sounded like the story of my life pretty much, at least as far as attachment issues and the Limmerance. And like a lot of people, due to trauma, they have people addictions, but like people only see something wrong with addiction when it's like hardcore drugs and you're homeless. Other than that, there's nothing wrong with it. Even though we literally live in a society that's like sexually messed up and where like sexual addiction is just the normal everyday life. And people in the West, quote unquote, date until they're 90, and it's just so much a mess with that. But like, people addiction is even deeper than anyone would really want to admit. So I'm going to mostly focus on Limmerance. There was something else I was supposed to talk about, but I already forgot. So if I remember, I'll talk about it, I guess. Oh yeah, I remember. I was going to talk about DPDR. Well, not even that. Splits and emotions and dissociating. Hopefully I'll remember, but like, kind of like how when you grow up, when you're in an abuse situation, or you grow up in an abuse situation, or maybe you're still in like never mind. Forget that last part. You get told that you can't cry, and that if you cry or if you look sad, you'll get beat up for that. And maybe you're even like in a situation where you can't laugh or smile either, which I mean the school system is big for that. You're not supposed to talk, laugh, any of that, or you'll get in trouble. Like, now I'm having like some flashbacks. And I'm just talking about the regular school system, not like any side cash for kids system branches. This reminds me of this post that a boy I know who has been and is in a pretty messed up situation had made. And the post was like, I grew up in a time where I got told if you don't stop crying, I'll give you something to cry for. You get told that if you stop crying, I'll give you something. We are not the same. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll talk about that first. This is going to be all over the place as usual. So like pretty much due to different little extravaganzas, I have done, I don't even know how to put it. So pretty much, due to being in different situations where I had to walk on eggshells, find people please, or just not being allowed to cry or laugh or smile. There's like certain things with the MPDs or the splits to where like I often can't do any of those things. I think I mentioned this before. I always say that, but I do. So, like, I even, like, have flashbacks of when I was in 5th grade, the last grade I went to. And, like, people would even ask me, why do you start smiling or laughing when you're about to cry? And I still do it. Like, if I bump into, I don't know, if I run into a pole while, like, looking at something else, if I am about to cry, I'll just start laughing or smiling. But I mean, I don't even know if that's a good example because I don't really feel a lot of pain, which I'm pretty sure I mentioned that before. Because this is going to be a part of the Autism, PDs, no, what is it called? Racial Autism, Anointed, PDs, something like that playlist. And I talk about the whole extravaganza where me, quote unquote, not feeling pain due to like just being used to being beat up was used against me. And it was kind of like that whole black people can't feel pain thing. And of course, like even my abusive relatives were the ones that were like creating this situation that led to the medical abuse and cash for kids system abuse. But still, it was kind of like that. And so like it was said that discipline didn't work on me because I can't feel pain. So I guess the pole example isn't the best for me because I probably wouldn't like cry for something like that or really too much of anything. But I mean, even that's a part of dissociation. But yeah, so anywho, that stuff like that doesn't make me cry. But I guess the better example is like people talking junk to me and people's never-ending insults and their comments and side notes on who I am and what I should be doing and different stuff like that. So I guess stuff like that, because that makes me want to cry more than like anything else does. So when that happens, I just like dissociate, and like if I think about it and I start ruminating and having like emotional flashbacks, if I want to cry, I can't cry. Now I'm falling asleep. So yeah. And it's like, pretty much the way to explain it is that another part of me or even another personality holds emotions, and it's kind of like I'm standing beside the emotions, or like it's a wall between me and my emotions. This could even go into like how I've been thinking about a lot, how like I don't feel a lot of emotion, to be honest. But it's like people who say that they're normal, say that they feel a full range of emotions, could still treat people so terribly and be so mean and heartless. Yet they say that they feel emotion, but I can say that I don't feel emotions that much, but I can still care about other people and not, at least not purposely run around, I don't know, beating people up. So yeah, I've been thinking about that, and that's really interesting to me. But that's why the whole normal term is really bullcrap. I mean, what's normal isn't good. I learned that a long time ago. What's normal isn't good, but what's not normal probably is good. Just because something's normal doesn't mean it's okay, pretty much. Then, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before. Feeling like I have to hide that I'm happy or like not laugh or not smile because still kind of like the whole, just from being in situations where I would like get in trouble for that, or where like the energy vampire demons would be mad at me for being happy, so they would try to like make sure they do something to try to like screw my day up. And also when you're in like the cash for kids system, especially the more so mental health side, if you're too quiet, something's wrong with that. If you're happy, you're, I don't know, manic. If you're sad, you're schizo or you're depressed or something. So, like, all of that makes me really still feel like I have to, like, just, I don't know, watch how I look like I'm feeling, I guess. So, yeah. And, of course, being in situations where I would get in trouble for laughing. Like, I still sometimes have memories of, like, okay, I don't even say one good part. It was, like, the part of my life where, like, I finally had that last little comedian go around. And this was in 6th grade, although I technically didn't go to middle school. So this wasn't like a cash for kids system placement, but it was like a bullcrap fake little charter school where you don't really learn any of the stuff that you're supposed to learn. But I still only went there for a couple months before I moved in with my mom, and the cash for kids system stuff started. So, like, I had okay, so this is when I met my historic old abusive friend, quote unquote, Addie. And then it was like a couple other people. And I could say this was the one time I had like a friend group, I guess I could say. Because like most of elementary, I was always like really sexually acting out, and I had got like really demon possessed due to like sex addiction. And so that screwed up a lot of stuff. That and just like my situation being messed up in general. Not that I was in a good situation here, but I wasn't sexually acting out, so people didn't have a problem with being around me, at least not for that, or really for anything. This was actually like pretty decent, which is why I say this was like, I guess I could say my one good like time period of actually being around people my age for kind of the last time, I guess I could say. And so I was the comedian, but it wasn't even just that. There was also this like teacher that did a lot of really funny stuff on accident, and so like people would try not to laugh, but it would be really hard not to. And we would all get in trouble for it. Not even just like me and my friend group, I guess I could say, but like pretty much half the class would like get put in these timeouts where we'd have to stand outside. And so yeah, that would happen, and me and my abusive friend Addie, and then the Kimura girl that I may or may have not mentioned. I think I usually try not to say names, but the three of us especially, due to like, I guess it was like a coping mechanism as well, we would find a lot of stuff funny, which honestly really was funny, but we were always laughing about something, and also getting in trouble for nothing, for something that the teacher assumed happened that didn't really happen, was also funny to us. So we would get in trouble for laughing. And I remember like this one time where like Kimura got in trouble for laughing, and then she couldn't stop laughing, and so like a lot of people pretty much had this idea that like we were what was the teacher calling it, mental or psyche or something, because she was like Jamaican, but she lived in like the UK for some years, so she would call it like psyche or something. We're like, it really was funny though. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even really remember much of it, but I just remember that it was really funny. And yeah, so yeah, that added to like me feeling like I have to try to not laugh about stuff or try to pretend that I'm not happy. And so like if somebody gives me a gift and they ask me if I'm like excited about it or if I like it, I'll sometimes accidentally say no and accidentally hurt the person's feelings because I'm still like in the mindset that I have to pretend that I'm not happy. Also, the mindset that if I'm happy and people around me, even like random people, aren't happy, I can't be happy because they look like they're not happy, which that's like pretty common. But yeah, and I could honestly say that even before my abuse situation with relatives really got bad, a lot of this I can't be happy trauma really started in the school system, which is why honestly, it's a good thing that I really didn't go to school. Like I remember on the evidence channels, I used to say pretty often that I got treated worse when people saw me as either, I guess, crazy or retarded or both. When I started getting the labels in the cash for kids system, then when people just saw me as evil, because like when I was in elementary and I was always sexually acting out, the teachers and my dad and I guess my his girlfriend or my old quote-unquote stepmom would just say that I was like evil pretty much. And so I've always been told that I always look like I'm smiling, or at least I used to get told this a lot, but I don't know, I think that's just how I look, to be honest. So they felt like I was evil and like I was always smiling about stuff. And like I said, I was pretty demon possessed at the time, so I mean maybe I was smiling sometimes at certain things after doing certain things, but I don't know. But I would get in trouble for smiling a lot, and they'd be like, yeah, you're doing something to somebody, or you're saying something you shouldn't be to somebody, because I was always getting in trouble for sexual harassment. Also some stuff that really didn't happen, but due to the stuff that I did do, the teachers would just believe people. So yeah, but I would also get in trouble for smiling or looking like I'm smiling then, so that added to it. But yeah, anyway, so all this stuff leads to splits, and it's now I have to try to fight to feel some emotions at certain times, and the fighting doesn't work. It's even if I really want to cry about something, I can't, and I just start laughing and I can't stop laughing, and it's just but yeah, so there's that. Now I gotta remember the other thing I was supposed to talk about. So, people addiction and limerence. This is probably going to be embarrassing, but I don't know. Well, I guess, let me not say that. So, anywho, limerence, and I guess I could say over-identifying with people, but also maybe over-understanding people, and then seeing yourself in people and seeing people in you. I don't know. Maybe, let me not go there. Anywho, I also think that, how people that I guess would now be considered neurodivergent or would get the autism label, who also are probably anointed or prophetic, and can maybe even get the schizo label, maybe for no reason, but if they actually do have the symptoms and it's not just the usual bullcrap with that, but still have the ability to connect dots that most people just can't see. So recognizing patterns. Okay, what was I talking about? I think I was gonna say that you recognize similarities in people, also the gifts in people and different things about people that they may not recognize about themselves. And even you do this for yourself, and by you I mean me and other people. So this is one thing that can lead to limerence, but also limerence has a lot to do with the spirits that are in you and other people, but also I guess generational stuff. A lot of it could even have stuff to do with finding people that are your parents. So emotionally unavailable people, dudes that don't really like women, yeah. So anywho, some people could say that you care too much about other people, or you get too attached, and that goes into the people addiction part, but I'm trying to figure out how to really explain it, because there's so many different ways that it could be and so many different reasons. I've even noticed with myself when I was elementary age that limerence and sexual perversion, which turns into romantic obsessions, can go horribly, horribly bad together. In fact, I remember when I was a lot younger, way back in the day, there was this documentary I watched, this true crime documentary about a teenager, and she had a limerence obsession with some girl she was friends with, and she thought the girl was pretty. And so she chopped her up and tried to wear her skin, or she tried to change her name to her name and steal her identity. And that right there, even before I even found out about the BPD term, I think by that point in time I had already found out about the BPD term, obviously, because the video mentioned that the girl had BPD. So that right there really made me think, I gotta figure out how to not have this. Because I didn't want to, that was not where I was trying to go. Not gonna lie, but that made me think more about it. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, the reality is that sexual addiction and porn addiction does set you up to become a serial killer anyways. That's kind of one of the main points. Because for one, with sexual addiction, you learn to see yourself and others as objects, and to devalue people and to not care about people. It also makes you angry, but it also makes you paranoid. That's another thing. This is about to be really irrelevant, but it's like, even though it's so common, it's common to have issues, but it's taboo to talk about wanting to fix issues. Because society doesn't really want it to be fixed. And that's like against the agenda. But like also, I kind of mentioned the paranoia part in the video titled Groomers or Marine Kingdom Agents or something like that. But another side is that like, you start to get paranoid about like, what if there's cameras in here? And like, who all can hear what? But I could also say, if you go through covert sexual abuse, that could also like add to that paranoia, because then like your abusers will constantly be like, yeah, I heard this and that last night, when really, honestly, the most you probably heard was me crying all night. But yeah, anywho. But for anybody who doesn't know, wait a minute, abusers that like bring up stuff like that, whether it's true or not, to try to like shame you, especially in front of like other random people, it's covert sexual abuse. But a lot of people don't know that, and I can make another video about that. I already have one that I made like, I don't know, last November, and like now someone's like playing a song that's also pretty flashbacky to me. But you know, it's really funny though, because like something I mentioned before is you go through the cash for kids system, and of course the mental health system is tied into all the human cash cow system branches. So you spend like all these years getting told that you're retarded and crazy and you need quote unquote treatment, but then they leave you with CPTSD and all types of splits and stuff. But then they refuse to diagnose you with anything really, but especially anything you actually have or quote unquote help. It's like, how many people actually do get diagnosed with CPTSD or even PTSD? But I definitely mentioned that before in one of the videos in this playlist. So what was I talking about? But anywho, Limmerance can make you love and hate is a splitting. So like, oh yeah, this reminds me of something else. People making these "this is what a narcissist does" videos. I hate those. A lot of people do, because they're very bullcrappy. Not even just because I don't like the bullcrap labels, but because like most of the symptoms that they name in videos like that are symptoms that anybody with complex trauma will have. And of course, anybody with any PD has complex trauma, whether they choose the dark or light side and go reprobate or not. And like, they'll be talking about how somebody will split on you, or how they'll like do chameleon effect or masking. And I mean, even quote unquote autistic people would do that, which is pretty similar to PDs. But well, actually, like I've said before in this playlist, it seems like people who are quote unquote neurodivergent or anointed or prophetic more so are more likely to end up schizo or with MPDs anyways. But what was the other thing? What was I saying? Oh my gosh. They'll be like, why does the narcissist blocks you then unblocks you? And it's like, okay, first of all, I block them and unblock them because I don't really know if they like me or not. But all this is more of why I really just stopped. Well, no. Honestly, this is a small part of why I decided that I was just going to stop talking to people pretty much, especially at 14, because I was like, I really need to focus on getting out of my situation. But I guess now that I ran away, I got to like problem solve my problems. I don't know, like, it's actually kind of funny though. I can make a whole video, and I think I already have, about how like you like plan your escape from the situation. You have like this idea of all the problems that you're gonna fix once you get out, and then it's like, okay, I'm out now, and like now I don't know what to do. But yeah, I don't know if I said it or not. Did I say it? I don't think I said it. Maybe I did. Limmerance can make you love, hate, be jealous of somebody, want to be them, all at the same time. I think that was everything. And want to date them. Or want them to be your mom or dad. Or maybe both. And want to date them. And love them and hate them. And be jealous of them and want to be them. If I didn't already say the want to be them part. And this is attachment issues all around the boards. But mommy daddy issues definitely plays like a huge part in it. Because something that I noticed a long time ago, even before I actually like heard the term FP or Limmerance for the first time at like about 14, is that I never had Limmerance with dudes. I only ever had Limmerance with like other girls. But I guess also when I was younger, I only even liked other girls. Well, no, actually that's not even true. When I was when I was a toddler, because like I always was pretty hypersexual, I did like boys. But then when I was what was it? It was like, I don't know, some point in elementary age I did like girls only. But I would always tell people, honestly, I really just want my mom to love me. But yeah, so there was a Limmerance side, but also the mommy issue side with the sexual perversion. And I guess it all just went hand in hand. Like, I still don't really think I've ever had Limmerance with a dude, but this is also like another reason why people like me rather just try to stay to themselves, aside from like all the different things that could go wrong. More so due to myself than even other people all the time, but it still kind of depends. Because I mean, like I said, a couple years ago I started to realize that I honestly don't like most people I meet. And I really don't mean this in a bad way, like I don't hate everybody or anything, but I was just like constantly throwing myself into quote unquote friendships that honestly I really shouldn't have been in. But I don't know, because I often feel like I'm screwed up in the head and don't have a lot in common with too many people. And it's like, the two people I did meet that I did have stuff in common with, one is honestly really abusive. So it's like, dang, am I abusive too? Is that what it is? Like, but LOL, and like, I recently talked to him again, and I shouldn't have. And he was like, I don't have to watch porn anymore, and I don't have porn addiction anymore, because now I just call women for that. But I mean, I did meet him under a Dr. Romney video, and he told me he was there because he thought he was a narcissist, so. It was back when I was still doing the abuse evidence videos, and I used to comment like the video links under videos about similar topics. But yeah, I was still trying to break free from the gaslighting, so I would like leave the abuse evidence video links, and I would have like a summary of the situation. I'd be like, yeah, so my mom and her boyfriend set the house on fire and blamed me when I wasn't even there. What do you guys think about this? And that's how I met him. He's not all that bad. I would honestly say that the biggest thing is like the spirits he's picking up from like, I don't know, the Hotep type stuff he's watching. But it's really weird to me still though, because it's like, he's one of the true Yashirel that actually is, like, stayed in Africa, never lost his identity. So he still knows he's a people. So I have no idea why he's even watching these bullcrap videos made by American BHI organization. He has no business watching that when he's of the tribes that didn't even lose their identity. That BHI stuff is for people that want somebody to make them feel better because they couldn't find it out on their own. Then there was this one girl, but I met her on Instagram back in that little time period of me. I don't even know, man. Like, Palantir probably has so much data on me. But yeah, back when I used to like look for love. Well, I won't even say that because I was never like, well, okay, no. I just feel like I don't even know how to put it. Never mind. I don't know how to put it. I'll put it in the description. But yeah, me and her were just both in bad situations, and she felt like I was talking about my situation more, and like that made her feel however. But she was also like just going through a lot because she had similar issues to me and was also pretty depressed about corn addiction. So yeah, there was that. And it was pretty upsetting though, because I really feel like, honestly, if that wouldn't have went how it went, we would probably still be friends. And yeah, so that was after I already had stopped like even throwing around the friend label, because I was tired of it, and I was tired of like the heartbreak and the abandonment. And it's like, dang. But yeah. And this goes into another topic, which may be my last topic because this is really long now. This idea that I used to have that like I was gonna like eventually get better, quote unquote, and I wasn't gonna be weird anymore, and I was gonna like fix my issues, and it's like, honestly, the past couple years I've just been wondering, like, is certain stuff just me? But like it's hard to really know, because when you have multiple personalities, what really is just you? And it's like now I have some weird, almost autoimmune, like metabolic issues that I assume are iatrogenic, that really alter my cognitive function and stuff, along with the brain damage, to where my conversation skills and even speech patterns could be even worse at times. If I'm like splitting due to low blood sugar, or like I just can't think because I can't break down food. And so like my brain is starving and stuff. And this is another reason why iatrogenics can lead to dementia and even schizophrenia, because they can both come, well, dementia of course, but even schizophrenia can actually be a form of like metabolic issues or insulin resistance from your brain starving, and like just different digestive stuff and like blood sugar issues. So yeah. But luckily I made this video in a good state of mind while not splitting, so I didn't have to go off on a rant about beating people up. So I just decided to throw this part in here, even though this may be too long. And so like the caption is thought life, and I was thinking instead of having the thug life hats, just have a thought life hat. But anyways, I wanted to throw, did I already say that? Anywho, I mentioned before, I think in my video titled Trauma Talk, I think, something like that, at least that was in the thumbnail, that my speech patterns and even like my typing patterns can really throw some people off. And people typically already don't know what I'm talking about, but before I kind of started to know how to use punctuation, it was definitely way worse. And like I said in the Trauma Talk video, that was of course used to manipulate me into feeling like I'm manic, I guess. I'm not even gonna like go into like how my voice sounds, because that's not even the point. So I'm not gonna go into that again. But like, just I don't know, not really knowing how to talk to people. And really it's more so a learned thing, I'd say, but also the isolation, but more so just like a learned thing from like being around like my parents. I mean, like I said in one of the videos in the playlist, like a little before I ran away, my mom told me that I needed some friends to play with because I'm annoying as F. But the thing is, she doesn't have any friends either. And that's like, I could honestly probably make a video about how the curse of growing up in a dysfunctional family system with no affection is never having friends, but I'm not even going to do that right now. So, what was I going to say? But it's like, I don't even know though, because so many people that grow up in different types of abuse situations end up in the curse of dating over and over again in abusive relationships. Or just having to get with pedophiles over and over again just to say they have somebody. So, I don't know. But anyways, just like, I guess, not really knowing how to word what I'm saying and not in a good order. I may have used this analogy before, but like, people say that in Spanish, you say, the coat blue, but in English you'd say the blue coat. So I guess like how you say agua fresca, which I don't think I pronounced that right, but I'd assume that translates to something like water, fruit, but I guess in English it would be like fruit water. So I kind of feel like that may be kind of like how I talk. It even makes me think about something I noticed recently when I was in Louisiana, how it's kind of like people sometimes talking old English, I guess. Like, I was thinking about this earlier too. So like in Louisiana, they say, I'm not gonna do you nothing, which means I'm not gonna do anything to you, which I wouldn't trust anybody that's saying that to you, but people say that. And it makes me think also about how like in the UK, instead of people saying, stop talking about me, they'll like say, don't talk my name. But it also makes me think about how people in the South say, keep my name out your mouth and different things like that. It is funny though, because I mean, even before I started traveling, I realized that what people consider talking ghetto is just having a southern accent. And it's honestly old English, some of it, and it's more closer to actual like British or original English than like what people in America consider proper English. Proper English is actually like less proper because like we pronounce, well, like we say vitamins, but like others say vitamins. But yeah, that's kind of irrelevant though. But I kind of feel like I just say things in like an order that most people don't really get. So like I say things in the middle that I probably should have said first. And I think some of it can also come from like just having to hurry up and say something really, really quick before like somebody starts screaming over me. So like I have to say, okay, this is the important part, so I gotta like say this first before somebody tells me to shut the F up. But it's like, yeah, it's a lot of stuff that causes this though. And like I said, I mean, when I was staying in mold and with the metabolic issues I developed, that together like really screwed things up. At one point, me and pretty much everybody in the house sounded like Joe Biden, just about. Honestly, worse. So, but like I said in one of the videos in the playlist, wait, was that in, I don't know, in the trauma talk video, I once had someone tell me that I text as if I'm thinking to myself in my head and not as if I'm talking to another person. But I don't really know what to even compare it to, because like I would say I've spent too much of my life in my head. Like it makes me think of something that someone said to me, which is that I can burst out laughing or crying at any moment. I totally get it, because it's like the constant maladaptive daydreaming, the side of splitting that revolves around the blood sugar issues, and all of that put together. Oh yeah, and the DPDR. Like, I could definitely say that I've spent like too much time just talking to myself in my head, or even I guess like maybe the inner child and other things talking. So yeah, I would say like the splits, and like I know a lot of people will see the demonic side, and I mean yeah, there's definitely a demonic side, but there's also the fact that like there's defense mechanisms that are built into people for them to survive situations. So actually, the splits are going to be automatic, but demons can definitely attach to the emotional realms, which is an unfortunate thing. But I can definitely say that I don't know. Overall, I've just spent way too much time talking to myself in my head. But even with the maladaptive daydreams, like there's even this one thing that I do till this day and have done for like I don't even know how long, to just pass time or like to dissociate. Like if I'm walking somewhere, it helps me feel like I get there faster. Which typically these days, due to the weird metabolic issues I developed, I'd start like drifting off anyways, because like doing any type of activity makes my blood sugar slowly drop over time. So I start to like dissociate anyways. But just freestyling to myself in my head and like, oh yeah, that reminds me of something else. I wanted to throw in how like people with PDs, or just what people call issues, I guess, will use song lyrics or even make their own songs to talk to people. And I know, but me personally, with a lot of people who I guess have PDs or have the quote-unquote autism label, like, songs is like the only way to really be able to express emotions. So like, people say someone's crazy if they like hurt the person's feelings and they start texting them song lyrics, and they I don't know, I'm trying to think of a song like something depressing like Rod Wave, like, I don't know, you tell them you want to break up and they're like, Tombstone, carry me. Yeah, stuff like that. People consider that like crazy, but honestly, it's like, how else do you express your emotions? Like, I wrote some of my best songs at like 12 to 14, I think, freestyling to people who were treating me like crap that I honestly shouldn't have been talking to. Like, I never forget that one song, but it's like, oh yeah, that reminds me of another thing that I'm probably gonna have to make another video about, how like the multiple personalities write songs or do art for you. So like, you may notice that at one point you could sing, but now you can't. At one point you could draw, but now you can't. Now, of course, there could be like some demonic channeling in there, but this is actually, I think this is more common than people think. People say writer's block and creative block, but even from a conversation I had with somebody who may or may not have actually been a human, who seemed to have DID, I was telling her that definitely the reason that she can't draw now is because her multiple personalities were the ones drawing, and I haven't been able to draw anymore in like forever and a day. Way before I ran away. That could be a song. Like, even busking is hard for me to do, like trying to like sell my art. I remember, especially when I was in Cali, 'cause that's the one place I really even did it. Like, all the stereotypes and what I like to call the white projection is gonna happen. So people are gonna like automatically try to accuse me of being on drugs and just mentally ill, whatever that really even means. And it's like, due to the fact that busking and just standing somewhere holding a sign saying go to my website and stuff like that, it's just like so boring. I automatically start to like mouth after daydream and dissociate and stuff. So I start thinking of stuff that's funny, and I have to really try to like not laugh. I also have to try to like look like I'm in the present moment, but I'm never in the present moment. It even makes me think about something I was talking to someone about. 'Cause like, I have people tell me that I'm high risk to become like a drug addict 'cause of my situation, but it really just doesn't appeal to me. And I have enough health issues from being forced on drugs. What was I saying? Oh yeah, but the point is, I mean, I feel like just my everyday is kind of like being high anyways. It's like, people do drugs to dissociate, but I'm already like very extremely dissociated to the point where I pretty much am high all the time. And it's not even about the trauma. Like, a lot of it really is the iatrogenic metabolic issues. Like, my brain is starving really bad. It's a miracle I'm even still alive, actually. It's actually the big reason why I can't remember Jack Diddley.